You ever take a handful of vitamins in the morning and still feel tired, stiff, or foggy by noon? It's strange, isn't it? You try to do the right thing for your body. You follow the advice. You stick to a routine. But deep down, something feels off. Like your health is slowly slipping, even though you're trying harder than ever. If that sounds familiar, you need to hear this. Because after 60, your body doesn't process supplements the way it used to. In fact, some of the most common vitamins in your cabinet, ones you've been told are good for seniors, could actually be causing harm. Silent, steady damage that builds up in your liver, your nerves, even your heart, and you might not know it until it's too late. But here's the hopeful truth. You can turn this around. You can avoid the dangerous ones and give your body exactly what it needs to stay sharper, steadier, and more alive every single day. In today's video, I'm going to walk with you through 4 vitamins that are surprisingly dangerous after 60, and 4 that you should absolutely take every single day to feel stronger, clearer, and more energized. And stay with me till the very end, because the final vitamin on the list has been linked to a 36% lower risk of death in people over 60, according to a massive European study. This one change could mean the difference between just aging and thriving. While we dive into this together, I'd love to know, where are you watching from today? Drop it in the comments below. And if you've ever felt confused about which supplements are helping versus hurting, let's talk about that too. All right, let's begin with the first vitamin that might be doing more harm than good, even though most seniors are still taking it daily. It sounds harmless, right? Vitamin A, the kind that's in so many multivitamins. You hear it helps your eyesight, your immune system, even your skin. But what nobody tells you is that after 60, this friendly-sounding vitamin can quietly turn toxic, especially when it comes in the form of retinol or retinol palmitate. See, unlike water-soluble vitamins that your body pees out when there's too much, vitamin A is fat-soluble. That means it sticks around. It gets stored in your liver, your fat tissue, and it builds up, little by little, day by day. And here's where age matters. As you get older, your liver slows down. Your body becomes less efficient at clearing out what it doesn't need. So, that vitamin A you're taking daily? It's not leaving your body. It's stacking up. At first, it doesn't scream for attention. You just feel a little more dizzy. Your skin gets drier. Maybe your joints ache more than usual. But underneath it all, that buildup can damage your liver, strain your heart, and even mess with your vision. The very thing vitamin A was supposed to protect. One major study from the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that excess vitamin A in older adults was linked to a 25% higher risk of atrial fibrillation, a dangerous heart rhythm problem that dramatically increases stroke risk, especially after 65. But here's the good news. Your body only needs beta-carotene, the plant-based form of vitamin A. It's in carrots, sweet potatoes, spinach, and eggs. And your body is smart. It only turns beta-carotene into vitamin A when it needs to, so the risk of overdose is nearly zero. So here's what you can do right now. Grab your multivitamin bottle and look at the label. If it says retinol or retinol palmitate, and the amount is over 700 micrograms for women or 900 for men, it's time to switch. Choose a formula that uses beta-carotene, or better yet, get your vitamin A from real food. Your body will thank you. Ready to move on? The next vitamin is one almost everyone associates with energy and strength, but after 60, it could be slowly wrecking your heart, brain, and joints. Most people think of iron as something essential, something you take when you're feeling tired, when your nails get brittle, or when your doctor says you're a bit anemic. And for younger folks, or women of childbearing age, that makes sense. But after 60, iron can turn from a helper into a silent attacker. Here's the problem. Once you stop regularly losing iron, like through menstruation or injuries, your body no longer has a natural way to get rid of the extra. And if you're taking a multivitamin that still includes iron, just in case, you might be doing your organs more harm than good. Iron doesn't just pass through the body. It gets stored, mostly in the liver, heart, and pancreas. And when there's too much of it, it starts to rust you from the inside out. That process is called oxidative stress, and it damages your cells in ways that speed up aging, increase inflammation, and raise the risk for Alzheimer's, heart disease, even certain cancers. Worse yet, many symptoms of iron overload look exactly like typical aging: fatigue, memory slips, joint pain, irregular heartbeat. Most doctors don't think to check iron levels unless you specifically ask, and most seniors don't know they need to. But here's what you can do today. If you're taking a multivitamin that contains iron, and you haven't been diagnosed with anemia or lost blood from surgery, ulcers, or chronic illness, stop. You probably don't need it. Instead, ask your doctor for a serum ferritin and transferrin saturation test. These two simple blood tests tell you whether your body is holding on to too much iron. And while you're at it, focus on getting iron from whole foods instead. Beans, lentils, leafy greens, and lean meats all contain iron, but your body absorbs just what it needs, especially when you're eating a balanced diet. No overload, no buildup. The truth is, iron can be your ally or your enemy. It depends on whether your body actually needs it. After 60, less is often more. Coming up next is a supplement that's been pushed on seniors for decades. It's everywhere, in ads, pamphlets, doctors' offices. But when taken the wrong way, it can sneak into the wrong parts of your body and do the exact opposite of what you're hoping for. It's probably the most recommended supplement for seniors. You hear it everywhere. Take calcium to protect your bones. It's printed on the front of multivitamin bottles, echoed in doctors' offices, and pushed in every commercial aimed at people over 60. But here's something you probably haven't been told. If you're taking calcium alone, especially in large amounts, it might be doing your heart more harm than it's doing your bones good. See, calcium has one job. It's supposed to go into your bones, but after 60, that process doesn't work as smoothly as it used to. The absorption slows down. Hormonal shifts and aging bone tissue mean your body isn't guiding calcium the way it once did. So, where does all that extra calcium go? Not where it should. It ends up in your arteries, your joints, and your soft tissues. That's when things start to go wrong. Multiple studies, including one published in the British Medical Journal, have linked excess calcium from supplements, not food, but pills, to increased risk of heart attacks, strokes, and artery calcification. That means instead of strengthening your skeleton, the calcium is hardening your arteries. It's contributing to the very diseases you're trying to avoid. And there's more. Calcium supplements can also cause bloating, constipation, and block the absorption of other essential nutrients like zinc or iron. And if you're someone who takes acid blockers for reflux, a common issue in seniors, your body might not even be absorbing the calcium in the first place. So what are you left with? Poor digestion, no real bone benefit, and more stress on your heart. But here's what works better. Get your calcium through food. Leafy greens like kale and bok choy, almonds, chia seeds, yogurt, and sardines with bones give you calcium in a form your body understands and uses properly. And if your doctor still recommends a supplement, make sure it's taken with vitamin D3 and vitamin K2. Those two help steer the calcium into your bones and keep it out of your arteries. If your current multivitamin lists 500 to 1,000 plectrons of calcium, and you're already eating a calcium-rich diet, it's time to rethink. More isn't better. Smarter is better. You don't just want to take calcium, you want to use it right. Next, we'll talk about a vitamin that seems totally innocent. It's in almost every brain booster and nerve support supplement. But in high doses, especially for older adults, it can do lasting damage that takes years to recover from, if ever. Now this one catches most people off guard. Vitamin B6. It sounds gentle, doesn't it? Something you take for a little more energy, a clearer head, maybe to calm your nerves. It's in your multivitamin, your brain health gummies, even those supplements for tingling feet. But here's what most seniors never hear. When taken in high doses, B6 can quietly damage your nerves, sometimes permanently. Unlike most water-soluble vitamins that your body flushes out, B6 behaves differently. When you take too much, especially from supplements, it can build up in your nerve tissue, specifically the sensory nerves that control feeling, balance, and coordination. And once it builds up, it becomes neurotoxic. The symptoms often sneak in: a little tingling in your toes, a sense that you're walking off balance, maybe a strange burning in your feet or hands that won't go away. It's easy to blame it on age, arthritis, or even diabetes. But sometimes, it's the B6. One clinical study showed that even 50 milligrams a day, taken consistently over time, was enough to cause nerve damage in older adults. That's half the safe upper limit, yet it was still too much for aging bodies. And when you start stacking that with a multivitamin, plus an energy booster, plus a fortified shake, it adds up faster than you think. Seniors are particularly vulnerable because of slower metabolism and already sensitive nervous systems. And here's the hard truth. Once nerve damage begins, it heals very slowly, if at all. But you don't need to cut out B6 entirely. Your body still needs a small amount, just 1.5 milligrams for women and 1.7 milligrams for men daily. And you can get that easily from real foods like bananas, turkey, chickpeas, or tuna. No risk, no buildup. What you should do is check your labels. If your multivitamin or any nerve support supplement lists more than 5 to 10 milligrams of B6 per serving, it's time to rethink. Unless a doctor has tested your levels and told you otherwise, high-dose B6 isn't support, it's sabotage. Now that we've uncovered the 4 vitamins that could quietly be harming your health after 60, let's shift gears. Because the truth is, not all supplements are bad. In fact, the right ones, taken in the right form, can completely transform how you feel. Starting with one essential mineral most seniors don't even realize they're missing. Let's talk about something your body is quietly begging for, but barely getting enough of. Magnesium. It's not flashy. It doesn't get the spotlight like calcium or vitamin D. But if you're over 60, it's one of the most powerful nutrients you can give yourself, because it touches almost everything that matters: sleep, heart rhythm, blood sugar, muscle strength, even your mood. The problem is, magnesium is sneaky. You don't notice when it's low until your body starts waving little red flags. Cramps in your legs at night, racing heartbeats, trouble staying asleep, feeling anxious or just off without knowing why. And here's the thing. These symptoms often get dismissed as just aging. But many times they're not. They're magnesium deficiency in disguise. As we get older, our ability to absorb magnesium drops. Plus, common medications like blood pressure pills, diuretics, and acid blockers strip it from your system even faster. Add in poor soil quality from modern farming and less magnesium in our food, and the result is a quiet epidemic of deficiency. But when magnesium is restored, the difference can be dramatic. Seniors often say they sleep deeper, think clearer, and feel more stable, like their body isn't fighting itself anymore. That's because magnesium fuels over 300 enzymatic reactions. It helps your heart keep a steady rhythm, your nerves fire properly, and your muscles relax instead of spasm. Now, not all magnesium supplements are created equal. The most common kind, magnesium oxide, is cheap and widely sold, but poorly absorbed and often causes stomach issues. What you want is a bioavailable form, magnesium glycinate, citrate, or malate. These are easier on the gut and much more effective. The sweet spot for most seniors? Around 250 to 400 milligrams per day, depending on your diet and health conditions. You can also boost your intake naturally with foods like spinach, pumpkin seeds, black beans, avocados, and almonds. But chances are, especially if you're on medication, you'll still need a little extra help from a supplement. When you give your body back the magnesium it's missing, things just work better. From your bones to your brain. And speaking of bones and brain health, the next vitamin we'll talk about is technically a hormone, and yet it may be the single biggest immunity and longevity booster for people over 60. Now this one is often misunderstood. People hear vitamin D and think sunshine, bones, maybe a little immune support. But here's the truth. After 60, vitamin D3 becomes one of your body's most important protectors. And if your levels are low, it could quietly be weakening your bones, your muscles, your immune system, even your brain. What most people don't know is that vitamin D3 is actually a hormone, not just a vitamin. And it acts like a master switch, turning on hundreds of functions in your body. From fighting infections to helping your body absorb calcium the right way. But here's the challenge. After 60, your skin becomes less efficient at converting sunlight into vitamin D. If you spend more time indoors, wear sunscreen, or live in a place with limited sun, your levels drop even further, and fast. The symptoms of low D3 aren't dramatic at first. You might feel tired more often. Maybe your mood slips, your muscles don't recover like they used to, and your balance feels just a little off. But over time, it gets serious. Studies have linked vitamin D deficiency in seniors to higher risks of falls, fractures, respiratory infections, even depression and cognitive decline. A major review in the British Medical Journal found that seniors with healthy D3 levels had up to 50% lower risk of lung infections and a 30% lower risk of death from all causes. That's not small. That's life-changing. The problem is, most multivitamins only give you 400 to 800 IU, barely enough to maintain your levels, let alone fix a deficiency. What you likely need is 1,000 to 2,000 IU daily, especially during the winter months or if you rarely get sun. And make sure you're taking vitamin D3, also called cholecalciferol, not D2. D3 is the form your body actually produces and absorbs best. It comes in capsules, soft gels, or drops. And because it's fat-soluble, it's best taken with a meal that contains healthy fats, like avocado, olive oil, or nuts. Restoring your D3 levels doesn't just strengthen your bones. It lifts your mood, sharpens your memory, and supercharges your immune defense. And when you're over 60, that's not a bonus, it's essential. Now, let's shift to another nutrient that gets far less attention, but is just as critical, especially if you've noticed weakness in your legs, brain fog, or those little pins and needles in your hands or feet. This one is a quiet thief. You don't feel it stealing your energy. You don't see it robbing your memory. But if you're over 60 and haven't paid attention to your vitamin B12 levels, there's a good chance you're already running low, and it's affecting you more than you think. B12 is your nervous system's best friend. It keeps your brain sharp, your reflexes strong, and your balance steady. It helps make red blood cells and keeps your energy engine running. But here's the catch. As you age, your stomach produces less acid, which makes it harder to pull B12 from the food you eat. So, even if you're having eggs, fish, or beef regularly, you might not be absorbing what you need. That's why many seniors, even those eating healthy, quietly drift into B12 deficiency. The symptoms sneak up: fatigue that doesn't go away, numbness or tingling in the hands or feet, memory slips, trouble focusing, maybe even mood swings or feeling down without reason. Some folks start walking unsteadily or feel like their legs are heavy, and often it's misdiagnosed as arthritis or aging. But in reality, it's fixable. Because B12 is water-soluble, your body flushes out the extra, so the risk of overdosing is extremely low. The sweet spot for most seniors? Between 500 and 1,000 micrograms per day, especially if your levels are already low. And if it's very low, your doctor may recommend injections or higher doses temporarily to get you back on track. But not all B12 supplements are created equal. Look for methylcobalamin or cyanocobalamin. These are the forms your body can absorb best. And if swallowing pills is tricky, many seniors find sublingual lozenges, those little tablets you let dissolve under your tongue, work even faster and more effectively. If you haven't had your B12 checked in the last year, ask your doctor about it. It's a simple blood test. And correcting a B12 deficiency can be one of the quickest ways to boost energy, mental clarity, and confidence in your steps. Next up, we're talking about the single most important nutrient for protecting your heart, your brain, and your longevity after 60. And it's not really a vitamin, but it's absolutely vital. Now, this isn't your typical vitamin. It's a fatty acid. But for people over 60, it might just be the most powerful nutrient of all. Omega-3s, especially the types called EPA and DHA, aren't just good for your heart. They build the very structure of your brain, protect your joints, and keep your cells talking to each other the way they're supposed to. The research on this is stunning. A massive study from the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition followed over 42,000 people aged 60 and up. The result? Those with higher omega-3 levels had a 36% lower risk of death from all causes. That's not just about heart health. That's about living longer, stronger, and clearer. Another study published in Circulation found that omega-3s could reduce fatal heart attacks in seniors by 45%. That's nearly half. It's rare for any single nutrient to have that kind of impact. But here's the problem. Most people just aren't getting enough. Over 2/3 of older adults are deficient in omega-3s, mainly because they don't eat fatty fish like salmon or sardines regularly. And plant-based diets, while healthy in other ways, don't provide the EPA and DHA your aging brain and heart need. So, what can you do? Start by adding cold water fatty fish to your meals a couple times a week. Things like mackerel, salmon, or sardines. But to really get the therapeutic dose, most seniors need a high-quality fish oil supplement that provides at least 1,000 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA daily. And if you've got heart issues or chronic inflammation, that number might need to go even higher, up to 2,000 tisert, with your doctor's guidance. When choosing a supplement, make sure it's tested for purity, free from heavy metals, and ideally in triglyceride form for better absorption. And if you're vegan or allergic to fish, don't worry. There are excellent algae-based omega-3s that provide DHA and a little EPA too. Take it with food to avoid any fishy aftertaste. And know that with each dose, you're not just protecting your heart. You're supporting clearer thinking, calmer joints, and better sleep. It's one of the few nutrients that truly helps you stay you. Now that you've discovered the 4 vitamins that can help you feel stronger, sharper, and more energized after 60, let's bring it all together with one simple message and a little encouragement for your next step. So here we are. You've just walked through 8 important truths, 4 vitamins that could be quietly working against your health after 60, and 4 powerful allies your body is likely craving more than ever. And the beautiful thing is, none of these changes require a dramatic overhaul. You don't need to throw everything out or start some complicated regimen. You just need a little awareness, a little curiosity, and the willingness to tweak what's already there. Because staying strong, clear-minded, and independent in your 60s, 70s, and beyond, it's not about perfection. It's about knowing your body a little better than yesterday. It's about choosing smarter, not harder. So here's my gentle challenge to you. Go check your bottles. Flip them over. Read the fine print. If something surprised you today, if a label says more than it should or contains something we talked about, maybe it's time to make a switch. Talk to your doctor. Ask questions. You deserve answers. And if this video opened your eyes, let me know down in the comments. Which vitamin shocked you the most? What are you planning to change first? I truly read every message, and your story could help someone else feel less alone on their journey. If you found this helpful, tap the like button. It really supports our work. And don't forget to subscribe to Health 365, where we share simple, science-backed tips to help you stay strong, sharp, and supported every single day. You've got this, and we've got your back.